How to fix back stiffness or achiness in golfers. We're going to talk about some simple things you can do to help you move better with golf, work on your swing, and hopefully not have as much stiffness. If you have stiffness, achiness, or pain in your lower back with golf, it's got to be affecting your game, your comfort with the swing. So we're going to give you 3 stretches that we're going to suggest to improve mobility in the hips to offset some pressure in the back. So if you've ever known a golfer, you've heard about back pain. Most golfers, or a lot of golfers, always talk about some kind of discomfort in lower back. If it isn't someone you've known, there's a big problem on the golfing population is back stiffness or pain, and that can limit their ability to play that sport. It's really tough. It's just something that kind of plagues them. I think some of the reasons why this has occurred or why this is such a problem is that the natural position of a swing or a golf swing is in a position where you're slightly flexed forward and you're doing a combined motion of rotation. And that flexion with rotation is especially hard on the back, and especially hard they feel on the segments of the discs that are part of the lower back. They're particularly sensitive to that combined motion. I'll tell people when they're coming in for some back stiffness and such, I'll say the motion of flexion or rotation is a little hard on you. It doesn't mean you can't get back to it. It's just if you've just developed some stiffness, sometimes that can make that combined motion, especially over a series of times. You can imagine as you golf, you're doing that motion repetitively, and over the course of let's say 18 holes, that adds up to a problem as compared to just doing it once. And if you're really a crappy golfer like me, you do lots of swings in each round or each hole, and that kind of adds up. Okay, so just some of the things to think about. So we're going to talk about 3 stretches to improve the mobility in the hips and offset some pressure in the back. So in our skeleton right here, we're going to work on kind of like having these hips move a little bit better in certain positions so we can rotate through our hips, through our swing, okay, and get more motion from here, and let's not get compensation through our lower back. So we don't want to get excessive motion through the lower back or flexion or extension through our lower back. And we're going to try and combine a little bit more motion as far as flexibility in the hips. So that's good. So we're going to have our 3 stretches we're going to show you. Within 4 to 6 weeks, you should see a difference in doing these stretches as far as the comfort with your swing. Hopefully the comfort in your back starts improving a little bit if you incorporate these 3. Very, very simple. 4 to 6 weeks doing these stretches. Stay tuned. These are our stretches. So today, we're going to go over our 3 stretches for the hip. These stretches are going to be done, you can do them daily. Minimum is you want to do 3 times for a 30-second hold, which I'll explain. We want to have a good hold, good pressure in the hip and groin area, this region, and it would hold for 30 seconds because we're trying to get a lengthening of those tissues and increase mobility. All right. After about 4 to 6 weeks, we should really see a change in our range of motion by consistently doing this every day. And hopefully we can start incorporating that new motion into our swing. Okay, and that's going to be for another video, really incorporating the motion. It's one thing to have the motion, and the second part is to use it. But this is the first part, really help decrease some of that stiffness. So the first one is just a kneeling stretch. We want to stretch the front. You can feel the stretch predominantly here. And you're going to hold your hands here or across your knee. And you're simply going to rock forward, okay? Forward like so. You're going to feel a little pressure, stay nice and upright. After 30 seconds, you're going to really sit back. What you can do, if you can see this from a side view, is you can take your back leg and you can toggle it a little bit in or a little bit out, and you'll hit the hips slightly differently. So over the course of 30 seconds, you can play around with your rear position. We'll change the rotation of the hip this way or even turning it in like so, and then rocking forward. First start out with just straight back in a line, nice and upright, toggle forward. Hold for 30 seconds, and then release it. Now, since you're dealing with some back stiffness, if you notice these stretches give you more pain or starts to giving some maybe sciatica symptoms, you may have to modify how you're doing or talk to someone about it. But let's try and start with just holding tight here, keeping the back kind of nice and neutral, straight. Don't hyperextend or flex our back too much. So all the way forward, 3 times for 30 seconds. Try to stretch some of the musculature in the front, sometimes the hip flexors, fascia. Stretch a lot of things in the front just to work on hip extension, okay? All right, so that's our first one. Our next stretch is for hip internal rotation, okay? So it's basically that rotation like this, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to place our legs like so. We're going to bring our opposite leg, okay, across. So this is the one that we're stretching. We're going to gently apply pressure down. And you can kind of play around with this, but the key is we're trying to get all the motion from here. So you don't want to let your hip come up. You want to keep the kind of the waistline down on here, come across, hold it for 30 seconds, 3 times. Okay? Some of you folks, you're going to start here and say, wow, I go across and that's as far as I can go. That's okay. But you want to make sure you start there and make sure you're not compensating by twisting your back. That's the very thing that we're trying to offset in our videos. So the swing basically doesn't put more pressure on your back. We're trying to get more of the pressure through the hip growth. So this is hip internal rotation, just like so. Hold it for 30 seconds, 3 times, and then take pressure off. The next one and our last one is hip external rotation. Some people refer to it as a piriformis stretch. We're working on just rotation. I call it hip external rotation. Okay? So you're going to bring your leg in. So instead of going into internal, you're simply going to prop it up, and you're going to work on external rotation. So we're working on this motion out like so. You can take your foot, put it against the opposite leg. This is the one we're stretching. Okay? And you're basically going to push down and apply pressure like so. Okay? Hold it for 30 seconds, 3 times, and then release. Okay? Same idea. You don't want to feel like you're getting a lot of pressure through your back. Make sure most of the pressure is felt kind of in this region, like that. Or lie back if you have to, just so you don't move your back at all. Hold that pressure, 30 seconds. A lot of people will start here, especially if you have tight hips. You wouldn't even get to the position I'm showing, or up to here. Okay? But you want to hold that position 3 times for 30 seconds, and hopefully that, over time, doing this as a daily routine. And if you can do it after you've been walking, you kind of warmed up a little bit, even 5 or 10 minutes, the stretch will be a little easier. We're kind of inside, I call it warming the body, you know, that inside out warmth. And that'll actually make the stretches a little easier to do, a little warmer. Stationary bike, you don't have to do anything, just be, you know, just warm up. These stretches, obviously, you can do at home. You are stretching something. You're trying to get some greater mobility in the hips, so we have less irritation and pressure through the back. We're just trying to get everything along the chain in your body to contribute to the motion of a good golf swing. And in theory, you hopefully, as you incorporate your hips, you can get a little bit more strength and power as well, and hopefully it'll actually improve your game a little bit. And listen, if you're having less stiffness, you probably improve your game a little bit. You know, you're not reacting to that or worried about that, that lower back. So hey, I hope this helps you out and you get a little something from it. And hey, if you got something out of it, please, you know, smash that like button, would be great. Put a comment in there, maybe stretches you've tried, or if you have any questions about the stretches we're giving you. To get future updates, please turn on notifications so you hear about future videos. Have a great day.